this issue in the House back in 2014, it was following reading the newspaper reports based on the research that was done by Catherine Corliss. At the time, I called on Tuam to immediately be declared a crime scene, where you would have sealed the site, where you would have forensic anthropologists and everything else that would have been needed to uncover this atrocity. And make no mistake, it is and was an atrocity, a mass grave of 796 tiny bodies discarded like trash. I listened to the Taoiseach speech on Tuesday about the culpability of the state and society, but the state is not some anonymous set of officials. The vast majority of the time since the foundation of the state was led or governed by Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. They were the ones who presided over debates in this chamber. They were the ones who handed over and outsourced the responsibility for these women and children to the Church, and they knew to be merciless at best. So when we talk about culpability of the state and society, it's not some Joe or Josephine Soap we're talking about who condemned these women to a life of shame and to children of early, premature deaths, or the export of their children. This happened under the watch of mainly Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, who led the state for most of those years, and the abdication of the responsibility was obvious. The attitudes which prevailed were perpetrated by every arm of the state, the guards, the medical profession, the political system, thus allowing the Church to run free with their campaign of terror and castigating women for some perceived sin. How utterly and tragically ironic that these same nuns who labelled those women as immoral saw nothing immoral about neglecting a child to the point that it was, the point of an early death or export to another country, or then disposing of their bodies in a septic tank. And this is not the dark ages we're talking about. The legacy of these acts are current for some generations and are at best one generation removed. The relatives of these women are still alive. In 1995, when children playing on the site discovered skulls, it was not the police that were called for, it was a priest. He was called to bless the site. It seems that everybody went about their business as usual after that. The state once again turned a blind eye. The horrors of the mother and baby homes can't be properly put into words. The rumours of clinical drug trials had not been properly addressed, including in the terms of reference. In the last commission, Minister Kathleen Lynch at the time called for the terms of reference to include vaccine trials, and indeed I've been talking to somebody who was from Tuam, who as a child played around that site, and they uncovered on an ongoing basis disposed of vials, which would suggest that there was at least something that should be investigated. So there's, here we are with collective wringing of hands 2 years after it was first suggested publicly that there may be a mass grave in Tuam. The fact that remains that the horrors of Tuam and other mother and baby homes existed because the state permitted the Church to control some of our most fundamental institutions, and the sad fact that not everything has changed in that regard even today. We've got to take the Church out of our schools, from our hospitals and from medical care and from our politics. It is unacceptable that children are regularly discriminated against in our education system based on religion. It's unacceptable that religious orders can hold any influence over medical institutions and the healthcare provided particularly to women. And it is unacceptable that the Dáil opens up every day with a prayer that is not representative of all elected members or citizens. And it is unacceptable that our national broadcaster, funded by the state, subjects us to, citizens of all faiths and none, to the Angelus bells twice daily. These are relics of a bygone era. And if Tuam has shown us anything, it's this: the state must take responsibility for its citizens, and the Church has no legitimacy in the healthcare or education of these citizens. And we must grow up and separate Church from state. Thank you.